Yo, what it do? And welcome to the big Sleepover Moviecast. Tonight we are doing take two on a misstart episode here in season 2. Yes, we switched over to season 2 after the 50th episode. God, 50. Wow, 50 films we've watched together, or no one's watched, and I've just watched and talked over, which I'm great with, honestly. It's a lot of fun. But this one, I had the Blu-ray. I started watching it and I just could not get over the bad grain and the bad transfer. So I went out and shelled out 20 something bucks, which was a deal, and got this from Arrow Films from 1991, an American action adventure film based on an English folk tale. It's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So this is the Kevin Costner vehicle. This is the 90s film that I always thought had mixed reviews, but was a commercial and critical success, making a shit ton of money, almost $400 million on a $48 million budget. And Kevin Costner commanded a big portion of that, probably. It's well shot on locations and has an amazing soundtrack. The music by Michael Kamen, who has fantastic hair. Go look at his picture. And has done a ton of work in the music industry and the film industry. The film was directed by Kevin Reynolds. Kevin Reynolds, a Texan, son of Baylor University, former Baylor University president. So a little bit of a Nepo baby coming in there. Lots of money and lots of advantage, right? He directed 2 films that we'll be watching here on the Moviecast. This one, and then Waterworld. So stay tuned for Waterworld. Also, I bought at the same time I bought this 4K, and I'm super excited. It has all the cuts. Now, who else is in this film? Well, Morgan Freeman himself as Azim, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, Christian Slater as Will Scarlet, the legendary Alan Rickman. So we'll be watching the director's cut. It's a little bit longer and has more scenes of Alan Rickman, and it's apparently a little bit darker. So all things I want to see in my movie here on a sleepover movie. The film also stars the wonderful Brian Blessed, and uncredited as King Richard, Sean Connery. Now there's some other familiar faces we will see along the way. Now, as mentioned, this film was nominated and won several awards, including nominations was for Best Original Song, which is Everything I Do It For You. This is a power ballad. There's some weird things about this film. One that I will talk about immediately is the mullet. Yes, Robin Hood with a nasty 90s mullet, which is not a good look on the massive head of Kevin Costner. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the poster or the title, the cover of your DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever you have, and look at him kissing Maid Marian by the lake, and you will see his giant dome. So having a mullet also then persisted into Waterworld, which is just takes me right out of the fantasy there. But let's see if some other things were good choices. He chose not to do an accent, which, knowing Kevin Costner's range, is probably a good thing. I know he was maligned for it, but I can't do accents either. Leave that to Alan Rickman. Now, another reason I know this movie, not just from the 90s, is there was a video game for the NES regular that was a really cool, hard, tricky game where you could equip weapons and you progress through the storyline. I'd never seen this movie, primarily because it was known to be for adults. So I think my parents saw it and probably deemed it too violent or too dark and twisted for us at the time. I would have been, 8 years old-ish, somewhere around there, under 10. So probably was not allowed to see that. And I never went back. So I have seen this before I started watching, and then I stopped myself when I stopped the podcast because of the quality. Again, skip the Blu-ray if you have this old version of the Blu-ray. There's a new transfer probably that's better, but get the 4K and get yourself a 4K player. Get yourself a 4K disc drive. You can get them for like $60. You have to flash some software to get to play, but then you have a cheap and very useful disc drive. in this modern era of streaming. I hate streaming. It's going to kill everything. So let's buy these discs while we can, and we'll see what happens in the streaming wars. All right, that's enough chit chat at the start. Let's just dive right back in, and let's pay close attention at first to the transfer quality. All right, title track is ready. Gladiators are ready. Let's do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. You should see a Warner Brothers logo with no music coming up. Now, we hear the music. We see the second production logo for Morgan Creek. Already the transfer is much clearer here on this tapestry intro, which I don't like, but I do like the soundtrack. And if you don't remember this, or you think you don't remember this, you'll pick up on it. Been used in other spoofs, I believe. We'll see about that. Stay tuned. And yeah, it's just a pretty good. I can actually see the horse's dick. There it is. Good sting, right? Good sting for a theme. Now, not to be a shallow fuck, I remember thinking Maid Marian here was not that attractive. Now, compared to Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland from the 39 version, yeah, both these people look like dogs. Never really understood the attraction of Costner. I mean, young Costner as a baseball player, okay, but we'll definitely have to get through Bull Durham at some point. Now, I am not that much of a buff here, and I won't really know what the extra scenes are, but I know if it's Alan Rickman, and if it involves Alan Rickman and the witch, you know, that's probably an extended scene. I believe the sheriff in Nottingham also tries to rape Maid Marian in this cut and is stopped, obviously, but I think they cut that out. 800 years ago, fighting in the same place we are fighting now. That's not, that's not bragging. Okay, I can actually see there's a guy up there on the top of the mosque sounding the chant there. So we have UHD in full. I have it, set up the way I like it, which is not overly bright, but it's still, this is a dark scene. And I'm just seeing now that was intentional. But it's easier to make out in the darkness, much better than the Blu-ray release. Much more fidelity. I think it's cut and formatted the same. There are slight black bars at the top and bottom of my screen, but it's not an ultra wide or whatever. Yeah, Azim here, you can't see him, not because he's black, but again, it's just smoky and it's obfuscated either on purpose or just the quality of the stock, the cinematographer. There's definitely dust and stuff in there. So here Robin pulls an old switcheroo. And this scene is, one of ridiculousness. Of course, Robin Hood being a mythical figure, he has super strength and other powers, but spoken as an American. Those big ass scimitars. And let us not forget that that man was not just soot-faced. He was supposed to be made into a, quote, what, Moor is the term? So, literal blackface. Other reviews called this the woke version of Robin Hood, and I'm guessing it's just a reaction to having a black person in the story. I mean, who gives a shit, right? I don't really understand the addition. I've not read any source literature or lore on Robin Hood. I don't know if Azim is real, but I find it an interesting parallel to, you know, what actually was going on in these crusades. Well, if he knows the way out, man. They somehow get in the sewers. That isn't shown. Look at all those stunt rats. Great sewer escapes. I recently watched Kanał, a Polish World War II film. It was interesting. Features a sewer. Third Man has a great sewer chase scene in it. Famous for that. Now in the video game, the sewer is like a whole level, and you're wandering around the sewer and you're finding, you know, your way out, and you're finding weapons. I have to find an emulator version of that and give it another shot. I remember the sword fighting was particularly challenging. Let's get down on these melons that just are left out for some reason in a city full of rats. Yep. Because you told me you knew a way out, motherfucker, and you did. There was a utilitarian reason for it, at least to begin with. Here's the life debt. And although it starts off rather serious, the goofiness and the humor picks up, I remember. Now, we don't have the mullet yet, but it's coming. Between here and England, which is God knows how long of a journey. I think that maybe they say, but months, you know, like of sailing and hiking and whatever. Locksley Castle, nice matte painting. You can actually make that out. Okay, so here's another scene in the low candlelight. Still a lot of noise. That's okay. It's understandable. Listen to that voice. One of my favorites of all time. Especially when it gets loud and bold. There's Blessed as Locksley. It's a falconer, as all cool men of castles are. You know, the famous candlelight scene in Kubrick's film. I don't have that on 4K, and I'm not even sure if it exists, but I'm definitely going to get that. And even then, you can just expect because of the grain of the film stock used. Here, you can see with actual lighting, it becomes very crisp. But all these internal dungeon and castle shots, it's very dark. I suspect when we get outside, it'll be back to Man of action. I love it. Immediately armors up. Hell yeah. Buckler. Oh, the Ku Klux Klan. Fuck. How'd they all sneak up without being noticed? Oh, he fucked him. Ooh, Fidelio. Fidelio. There he is. Beloved by many generations. I never cared for Harry Potter, but Die Hard, Hitchhiker's Guide. Rest in peace, man. A real acting powerhouse. And another insanely good voice. The White Cliffs of Dover. And okay, it gives you the time. That's good. So in this time, he's fashioned himself a mighty mullet. Got himself some badass armor. And is about to go eat sand. Really wet sand. This is not your kissing the ground. See, he's not sure what he's doing. He kind of rubbed his nose in it. And Kristen. ADR line, maybe. No, why were they attacked? Best to not ask these questions. And they're just going to leave the boat? Oh, okay. Garlic? How did they get garlic? I guess it travels well. I don't know, but it seems like a luxury. Should have said pig shit. In my castle with my falcons and my whores. Oh. Wait, so it was another setup? I missed that part. That was intentional? I don't understand. Wayne Gretzky. That haircut, man's taking me out. Well, that is a famous tree. Real life location. Mistletoe. No, you don't. Shut up. That's okay. That's some bullshit. Islamic treatment of women is notoriously horrific. I mean, yeah, it sounds like all women of all kinds. Uh, bruh. It's like Costner stopped brushing his teeth to get into the method acting of being a Dark Ages Bandito. Yeah. I really don't like his hair. I can't look at anything else. It looks terrible. It looks like Keaton's hair and something. I don't know. Or Jack Nicholson's hair as the Joker or something. It's just fucking awful. Morgan Freeman has tattoos on his face of freckles, but Morgan Freeman is well known for being freckled. All right, this is a little bit better on that zoom scene in the 4K. It's a great shot. Irish wolfhounds. Good, scary looking ancient dog. And we have a little shit-eating kid here. And the first murders. Well, not the first, but Robin Hood, of course, has ninja powers. Mm, I've heard of you. Now, is his accent good? It's okay. It's doing something. The weird smirk there, I guess, is Robin Hood like, oh, and he defied convention with a fucking crossbow. Shot him right in the dick. Well, killed two men. So we don't get to see him with a longbow just yet. Yeah, Costner really has a softer delivery and kind of a lisp or something. You heard the clang. He just fucked that sword on that rock. Mm, that's a good joke. See, they're back to razzing each other. Yep, he really is kind of a little shit. Why? Because you're black? Or that giant sword? Is going to leave the dead to get eaten by wolves? Guess so. A dragon flies over the castle. All right, another inside dark scene. Yeah, and there's really nothing you can do. You can tell the film is just grainy. I mean, this is shot dark. It wasn't lit well enough. I was just clapping cheeks. Why'd you disturb me? And look at my mullet. You leave them out. Kind of looks like Jennifer Love Hewitt, doesn't it? Nah, I like to fuck in front of my statue. This is true. A nasty peephole, glory hole. So he's got a little Homelander in him. He likes to suck titties. That woman looks familiar. She does kind of look like JLH, but someone else. I should look up who that is. So now we meet the witch character. More stunt rats and stunt frogs. And more obfuscating noise on film. God, it really is grotesque, isn't it? That poor bird doesn't want to be down there in this fucking miasma. Okay, so adult-ish, sure, dark-ish, maybe. Aw, ball python, a sweet little snake. See, look, it got dumped over and it's fat. I wouldn't call this scary, though. Maybe because now I'm an old man, but even as a kid, I mean, this is weird. I think I was certainly in children are certainly more susceptible to weird and what is it? Suspense and psychological sort of visual effects. And as a soothsayer, she's got a little Bowie situation going on there. Although Bowie really didn't have two different colored eyes. Bowie just had a dilated pupil. So the weird occult angle here is interesting. Man, they really fucked up his castle. I don't know. You could just live in it. You didn't have to like burn it or fuck it up. Damn. Now, did he have that torture device, that Iron Maiden, in his castle? Oh, that fucker I met earlier. And guess who does worship the devil? The sheriff. He's still bleeding from his eyes. I mean, he's going to die of infection. How long has it been? Yep. I guess that's the wokeness here, is the anti-religion angle. The combination of Islam, Christianity, and pagan. At least they've softened his mullet and it's not spiky. Good sets, though. Really is TV level acting of Costner. I know he's a big star and all that, but even this outside, they keep it murky, as per Azim's comment. Is there no sun? Uh, Fuck you. What you do? Watanga. Oh my goodness gracious me. There's that humor. Mm. Costume design's pretty good too, though. Good kind of cool take on that mullet and those fucking lack of sideburns. A sideburnless mullet. Mm, mm, Irish. Casual racism here. Another dark scene. Again, purposefully, as we see, but oh, thank God, some light. How does he keep that tan if there's no sun? Take off your pants. Spread your cheeks. Let's say it's not her. Mm. Uh, yep, with his daddy's castle. Well, guess who it's going to be? Because again, we're not going to introduce our woman in this woke film. I'm being, sarcastic here, but we're not going to introduce her as just a maid. We're going to make her a badass. I remember this is the first fighting scene in the NES game, and it's hard as shit. Ooh, right, and the Kismet. Yeah. Now I do prefer Olivia de Havilland, and I always will, because that is the most pure woman I've ever seen on screen in the horrible movie. And by horrible, I mean great, but the horrible people in the movie Gone with the Wind. I believe her character is Melanie, the angelic, the giving. I'll just take my castle in the countryside. Mm. Man. My purpose. Aw. Ramblings. Mm. Oh, of course, he has a eyepiece. Mm-mm. Oh, the learned magic black person. Although the term is magic Negro, technically. That's a tired trope, but here it is again. Then again, he is by definition of the plot going to be one of the only Moors, whatever that means, to come back to England and also not be slain immediately. I mean, Maid Marian was always feisty, though. Oh, slapped her on the ass. Yeah. Breaking all the rules. At least Costner can ride a horse. A little bit. Beautiful shot. All right, so we've now toured through and met all the main characters. Act 1 comes to a close. Maybe not quite yet. We have to get him his merry men. Haunted with what? Okay, so anticlimactic end. They just get away. Okay, there's a little bit of a search maybe, but there's that occult angle again. Well, lucky they're all superstitious. What a great magic defense. Okay. It's again another seemingly racist remark. Great shot though. Good sound design. Good sound design. Very peaceful. I want to be there. I'd camp there. I would not staff fight a burly man though. I guess this is still Act 1. We got to meet everyone. It's a good first act, though. Origin story. Oof. Oops. The troll. The troll toll. I'm gonna get in that boy's hole. Great British smiles all around, huh? Wow. Toss spots. We can guess what that translates to. A little homophobia there. So not so woke now is this 1991 film. See, there's the little shit-eating American side we don't need to see. So the American gladiate basically fight. But I suppose that's how you have to fight with a bow staff. The guy with the mallet, though, I like him. I forget if you can get the big mallet in the NES game. Hey, little rich boy. Cocker. And this is one of the second fights I remember. Very hard. I think in the video game you fight him with a sword, though, oddly. I don't remember, but it was a very challenging fight. I could get up to this level for a while, but then I could not get past it. Ooh, fucked him. The score is good, though, right? Very majestic. But is not my favorite Robin Hood score, as you may have surmised. He Houdini'd me, son. Just like your mother. We're a band of merry men. We play together. We sleep together. We fuck in great piles here in the forest. We have no want of women. You toss pot. Big shiny balls, I'd like to have rest on my chin. Mm. See? Lots of references to their own dicks. Oh, he pulled it out. There are no ladies here. Only large circle jerks. Out of my poop. Okay. I mean, you I get the wokeness now. You don't have to preach like that. Mm. Oh, why are you lurking behind me? All right, so this is Act 2. I guess Act 1 ends with him going into the forest, kind of. This is Act 2. Meaning gas. He's very gassy. He has IBS. He takes really stinky poops in the forest. Now, Little John is another familiar looking guy. Almost looks like Blessed himself. I wake up like that sometimes. Hey, look, we got sunlight overexposing the film. He's eating ribs. Uh, so he is an acolyte of the occult. Was he eating that raw meat too? Robin Hood the Beggar. This is part of the lore. Making those moves at church. See, silliness. There's silliness baked in here that kind of makes this universe far less scary and far less dark. This movie is darker than the Disney Robin Hood and the classic Robin Hood, but I think I've seen another Robin Hood version that was more violent and more sort of true to life. We'll see if the scenes in here, and maybe I'm conflating the two, but the stench is overbearing. God, look at that hairdo. It's a bouffant, greasy mullet. That 90s country, man, really affected people. Miley Cyrus, your dad really had a fucking effect on people. You smell like fucking 30 dicks that you took that night. Oh, got your butthole. Now, would much have rather seen Johnny Depp as this role. I think we're all thinking that, right? There's just a stiffness and a weird mulletness about Costner. Now Depp's hair is darker, but we could have lightened it, right? It's my cod piece. Right. Why isn't your love potion working? Or is this Friar Tuck? Mm. Oh. How convenient. Loxley. More crossbows. Still not a lot of longbows in this. I do remember that now. You get like some sort of crazy machine gun crossbow in the video game. Ah, sword boy. The castle play in this, very similar to Sam Raimi's shots. I wonder if he borrowed from this film. He must have then. Jesus. It's nice they used an old castle and they couldn't really fix it up and CGI was not practical, but back then the walls would have been plastered and or painted, especially for like whoever the richest person in the area was. Scene 2, Act 2. Duncan's like, I'm still sleeping, bitch. God, he got maced in the fucking head. That's a horrible way to die. That's Little John Little's wife there. Okay. Robin and his 7 hoods. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. His interference did kind of cause some shit. Led to some grisly deaths. I like this writing, although this is probably directly from the source material. Now I have a long bow. Mm. You calling me yellow? Mm. Arrow through the hand. Terrible speech. You must stop fighting amongst ourselves. I want to get loud, but I know if I get loud, it'll sound hammy, so I come back down. And see, I'm doing the Sheriff of Nottingham accent too, because I suck at accents, but more powerful than 10 hired soldiers. I mean, better than I could do, probably. I'm not an actor either, but It's not commanding. That guy's doing a good job, though, with his voice. We'll build an Ewok village. You take it back. Smelting. It's gonna be a montage. We're aiming up for war. We're getting ready. We're learning how to kill. And we're still getting drunk and jerking off here in the woods. I mean, that guy hit it. It bounced off him, though. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I feel like Raimi watched this because he was like filming at the same time, I think. While we listen to this score. Yeah, he must have been filming right after this or during this. So the parallels are oddly similar, but maybe he went to set. Maybe, I would have to look it up, but he definitely, yep. And it feels that was so Raimi-ish. According to IMDb, Carrie Elways, Sexy Man, was actually offered the role to play this. Thought the plot was too contrived and turned it down. Yeah, I don't know if there's a relation. I'll try to dig into it more, but what likely happened is this director borrowed from Raimi from Evil Dead 2, and then Raimi saw this and really made a master of these kinds of shots in Army of Darkness. The greatest of all sleepover films, and we'll get to it eventually, maybe. Still would have preferred Carrie Elways in this just because of his gorgeousness and coming off a Princess Bride. And or did he do that at the same time? I feel like that was the same year too. Yeah, before it. Okay. So coming off a Princess Bride. Good camera movement, see? Good wide angle. There he is, chewing the scenery to bits. Who added the scar? Just, not even scary, just silly. Oh, there's Fire Truck. Okay. Yeah, Fire Truck was independent, I remember, until they bring him in. So, despite some of my criticisms, I still really enjoy a lot about this film. I think it's lushly shot in these locations. And I think the pacing is actually adequate. And that is Mike McShane as Fire Tuck. Don't think I mentioned him previously. And it really is the Sam Raimi-esque vibe of this. Like, what if this film was directed by Sam Raimi and starred you know who? Now, our boy. Oh, nice Vietnam-esque trap. Our boy is too hirsute and dark, probably, again, much like Depp. You really want that light hair, that fair guy like a Carrie Elways. Who else could do it? Brad Pitt. Now there's an interesting. Now if we could somehow get 91 Brad Pitt to be as oddly good as he was in the 2000s and then, since, that would be amazing. I think around this time wasn't True Romance where he plays a pothead. It was sometime around here. But speaking of, yeah, it was just after. So Christian would go on to star in that, and that is a great film. And it's a Tarantino project. As everyone knows, he was the writer first, writing things before he was the powerhouse director that he became. And we'll do a Tarantino. We'll do a Tarantino on this movie cast very soon. Maybe the next film after this. So that is a thought. I've got other Robin Hood films I want to get to. I always think of things I program in series. Look at that gold, baby. But then I don't go about the whole series because, I have to watch these and I get bored. So maybe a Tarantino to sneak in. for a little butt action. Ooh, Brewmaster. Oof. Right in the pile of dong that they keep strategically placed right there. Now, I'm going to ask you again. Yeah. He's a powerful beast, isn't he? I fucked up again. I did too much heroin. The very one. Mm. Killed his own cousin. They don't know left from right. Mm. Ooh. And her chamber chamber lady, chambermaid. Oh, Kevin Costner's ass from 200 feet away. Mm. Hit her with that soft shot. Now, that is a pale ass. Is that pure Costner? I bathed for you. Well, what are you doing here? There's the Ewok village. Remember that. Let us run train. Luckily, they're all merry men. They fuck each other. Azim has been relegated now to camp scientist. He split his arrow in twain. And that was more deadly shot, maybe. Considering they'll have breastplates. And here you go. Oh, God, almost killed him. So they fake you out on the split arrow there. This is very much, playing with the tropes. Someone wrote on one of the blogs that this is a gritty reboot, one of the first examples of a gritty reboot. And there's nothing gritty about this. It's far from serious. Again, it feels like Sam Raimi directed this. Good set design. Got that mullet. Would you like me to play guitar for you? Don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart. I just don't think he'd understand. 'Cause if you break my achy breaky heart, I might blow up and kill this man. Ooh. Billy Ray. You can tell my arms go back to the farms. You can tell my feet to hit the floor. It's a good song. He deserves the success he's received. There's some great live music videos on YouTube. Descending in embrace, like two leopard slugs making love. Mm. I ain't read the Bible. I just drink beer. You motherfucker. I'm going to ride my truck up here and rev it. Good character development. Honestly, the writing here is pretty damn good. The pacing and the characters, are so well defined by this point with this, story, but his delivery of these lines is terrible, but who says I'm content? Was she Irish in her? She said the name of the movie. Said big head. Now, why he's a master of science is inexplicable. I don't think for any reason he would know all this. I think science and medicine, got started in Greece. So the English would have just as much knowledge. But I guess, again, Azim is the great one. He's an exceptional fighter in the Crusades, and quite unlike Rich Boy who went to war. How many times is Morgan Freeman going to have to prove himself to these racists? It's a weird thing to do to a newborn. Clearly isn't a newborn, but, whatever. Magic. The magic black man. I've saved you again. It's that redneck accent. Mm. Oh, protective boyfriend. Jealous Will Scarlet. Also probably tried out for the lead. Let's be honest, right? He'd be one. Another great transition shot. Oh, here we go. The sex scene. In the misty morning, I bedded her by the lake. My giant mullet and giant head cast an amazing silhouette. Here's the song. Now, do they include the lyrics? I'll hold you where I am. I guess not. I guess they were tasteful enough and smart enough to know not to put a pop song in here. It's not worth dying for. Don't tell me no, 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 no. 'Cause everything I do. He would believe you. I feel like my voice sounds better than his, even just trying to emulate him, but would you do it for your king? How would I do a Robin Hood? What would my voice be? It would be soft too, because I've got nothing to prove. I have a huge cock, and I'm not that worried. Would you do it for your king? Too soft. Would you do it for your king? There, I think I would stay here in this mostly nasal, but this is my voice. He's better when you just have him stare, huh? I don't want him talking, and I don't want him smiling anymore. I hate his mullet, but just position him like that. It looks good. Not worth crying for. Everything I do. Okay. Now, see previous episode, The 13th Warrior, where we also have a witchy version of Grendel's mom. the Beowulf story. Now, that I would love to be re-released in 4K. Why did it make a sizzling sound? Hey, look, it's a Metallica album cover. Great British smiles. You know, it's nice to go back to a time where every actor wasn't bleaching their teeth. I know they're putting makeup on some of them, but I am a corrupt Christian. But they know that. It's a setup. But shut up. As you wish, my lady. There he goes again, being goofy as hell, but he's so charming, honestly. Yep. Oh, okay. So he's really into the Satan shit. Now, why the focus on this religion? That's such a Christian thing to do, to be honest. It's not, you know, it's a religious studies major type approach, but it also demonizes Satan worshipers who are known to be some of the most genuine and quote woke people. Oh, here we go. Here's your shaman. They've given me good cocaine, obviously. Okay, cool trick, bro. Like that guy, frat party guy, who puts a cigarette out on his arm. Cool, man. You're cool. Enjoy that scar. Oh, the tapestry. Okay. So it's Marion's tapestry. She works a loom at night. Good, wholesome, 80-year-old woman thing to do, but, whatever. I know, probably time appropriate. Is that you? Well, I don't know. Maybe. Good God. Mm-mm. The breasts. I want to see your breasts. Horse knows its way for miles and across, all kinds of terrain. Quite impressed. The warning arrow. Why on earth would you have a warning arrow and then scream after? Just scream. What a stupid. Mm-hmm. And now Marion is just the plot device. Got to go rescue the maid, the princess. And why are you firing arrows? I mean, they're showing their accuracy. I get that part, but it's stupid. It's like they communicate with their arrows or their bullets. All right, so you have some odd berserkers with a ballista. Now, I don't remember the Celts in the video game. I think I made it this far. I think I beat it. And I remember the big war was kind of like huge. You could, if I'm right, you could switch characters. And you could go fuck up, people. I'm trying to remember if they're Celts, though. I don't remember that part. I do remember dueling the sheriff in Nottingham, though, at the end, I think. All right, why stick him in the ground if you have a quiver? Pickup seems no different than pulling it from your back. I mean, grainy B shot. I mean, doesn't matter how good you are with your bow staff. Donatello, if I had a sword, I'm still gonna fucking take you. It's only a matter of time. Ooh, the mallet. They pulled horse stunts here. Ooh, scimitar his ass. I prefer Errol Flynn's non-super close-up stunts. God, those people just really want to see titties, even in the fucking heat of war. Jesus. Mowed down. The Ewoks have won. Well, why didn't you just fucking launch the ballista first? But okay. Good stunt work. Like a flaming bridge collapsing with real stuntmen on it. Big fat guy just disappears. Look at that. Greed. Don't throw the bow away. I mean, but okay. She's too big, John. So just stay put for a minute, you know? Doesn't look like her thing's burning. He's going to get 36 arrows in the asshole. Jump it. Jump it. Well, I mean, he's not. He's just screaming. No action's being taken. A real man came. Wow. Boy killed a man. And yeah, forgot all about the firstborn, I guess, but you know, cool. That's what happens. We're back to the obfuscated camera again. This director knew how to hide his failings. It's a broken back for sure. And he'd be burned alive because he fell in a thing of straw, apparently. Look at this grain. It is really, you know, we've come a long way with our technology and the actual photography. Much, the editing is one thing, but now with the sensors on cameras, you could shoot inside and not have near this distortion. There's nothing you can do. I take, I don't have a great camera or whatever, but I take photos of the night sky, and you turn up the ISO because I have a digital, and you get grain. It's part of it. Now it could be though that it got mastered digitally. I'm still unsure when that fully happened. But digital edits to film and stuff were going on during Lucas's time, right? So by 91, 92, 93, 94, certainly by the end of the 90s, digital editing, including full digital editing stations and things like Final Cut and maybe Premiere or something, were being used. So you would master your digital film. Now I know you do it frame by frame, and you give 250 megabytes for a picture. We're talking 240, 360, 480 DPI or something for a photograph. So you could do it slowly and do it probably amazing, pixel by pixel at that resolution. But I don't think it was done like that. Not King Richard. All of them. Again, decent writing here for your characters. I don't hate the dialogue or the plot really. Some of it's silly. There's another, barn owl out of nowhere. That's kind of cool, but also, okay. Is he frozen? Just blue from death or burnt? He's supposed to be burnt. Okay. Bad makeup there. That Pee Wee Herman there. don't do a good Pee Wee Herman, do I? Pain it is. Who's that Jack guy grabbing himself back there? Are we going to kiss? Spider-Man style? Look at my nips. Mm-mm. There he goes, prancing off stage. Is he digging a hole with that dagger? Who is that wise man? So on these rescans, these now see, look how good it looks when there's lighting. On these rescans, do they cut out the cigarette burns? I guess they do. It's like a action copy thing to do, right? Where you know you need to change a spool. Moving quick. Some more 90s hair here. Better than a mullet. Oh. He knows it to be true. I believe that's canon, and that's a good twist, you know? Also, good choice not doing the accent because he couldn't do it. But he's a much better actor physically than Costner, isn't he? Baby Jack Nicholson, they called him. Nobody called him that, but he certainly looks and acts like him. Mhm. Now we have lyrics, oddly. There he goes. We're losing color on that shot. You see that? It's drafty in the castle. And why have the whores stopped dancing? Nice when everything's a stone. You can just burn as many candles as you want. So you have 3 feet of wax falling off. Oop, he's getting in the glory hole. Yep. Don't do that. Someone's going to suck on that. There you go. He grew into this role, didn't he? Mm. So stupid he didn't realize there was a hole. Good camera shots. What a heavy load. Sweaty O face. Good sound design. It's very soft right now, so I'll speak soft too, but it's this is well done. This is how you add nuance to your film. And it's okay to use time if you're going to try scenes like this. But what modern Disney films do is just, here's 3 hours of the same shit over and over. You got to try new scenes. You got to try new shots. This was a daring directorial decision, well orchestrated by the cinematographer, and maybe the best scene in the whole fucking film. Okay, see? Yeah, another magic black person thing. I disappointed to see him fall into just that role, but whatever. I guess you could say his connection to the Far East with the black powder could possibly be relevant, but again, if in the Crusades the Muslim people were using gunpowder and science to fight, it would be stolen like anything else. So there's no reason to think the English wouldn't be on exact par, is all I know. And I suck at history. So if I'm wrong, God help me. This weird thing about the Celts, I don't understand. They didn't develop it enough, but just the Celts are barbarians. I guess like Vikings, but I don't know the Celt Viking relationship. Okay, same thing maybe. God, that accent is the worst. Mm. Friar Tuck is Irish, I guess. That's the accent he's doing. Now, again, that guy doing, American South doing an accent, so. Ugh. What a weird little stang of music. Which was my dick. Well, this is straight from the lore. Better done in the Disney version, I think. Shooting through the noose. Take that chance, director. Man, Azim is definitely a powerful number 2 here. And to make Azim his sidekick more so than Little John is interesting. The double agent. They're willing to hang the boy. Marion is, her character is as bad as all characters. So your one little scene of her being a badass at the beginning in her ninja suit. I know there's more to come, but it's just, it's weak. Well, here he is with his bombs. Surprised he didn't, cause an eclipse, another fucking... It's a good spit take. Now, Robin Hood is, known for this, but Westerns had this. Any good hanging has this moment of redemption as a possibility. The boy's light enough. His neck could take it. I mean, so slow, Robin Hood. I mean, Jesus Christ, hurry up. So if you lick the feather, that's that Raimi shot, kind of, Much better arrow, right? Loxley. Beta House. I mean, it's that kind of like Spider-Man. Too bad he didn't get to cash out on more Marvel films as a villain. And we can just watch this action here, which is pretty well done, I would say. Like, in terms of fast cut action, pretty good. Everything's working. Again, in director's cut, you have you made it the way you wanted. Uh-oh. Here we go. Now, what could a villain who takes his princess into the inner sanctum? So he modifies them as he shoots because he just knows that, doing something will change the trajectory of this projectile. Fuck me. Okay. She kind of looks like a little chihuahua. The witch, right? It's gonna be a satanic wedding. See, that's the thing. They make the Satans and the pagan Satanism. What this is clearly Satanism, but they make Satanism the bad guy. But they unite Islam and Christianity. Crone. That's a great term. Even the fucking priest is onto it. Domineering mother. A la psycho. Well, those guys just fell over and now stayed down. Okay, so they had a guy run in there. At least that's kind of planned. Sword fighting's so much better with Errol Flynn. Well, this is the darkest scene. We have a hurried marriage and the veiled sort of guise that he needs to reproduce now. This is weird witch mother. Dubois. Okay. This is a surprisingly dark scene that's played for humor, oddly. The Painted Man. See, again, very much Sam Raimi and Army of Darkness, like eerily similar. I guess he's geared up and ready to fucking go, even though he's no pants. And that's, again, for a rape scene, very humorous. And these eye rolls and leg spreading shit. Very hammy. Now you have a sexy butt chin. And yeah, that's a straight claymore. I mean, Rickman's bringing it here. I love it. And he brought it the whole movie because, this is a ridiculous script. It's a slightly darker Robin Hood with some, real elements, but the elements are played for laughs. And the mullets and the costumes belie it. And the rape jokes are ridiculous. Not even by today's modern sensitive standards. And I don't mean sensitive in a bad word. Sensitivity is good, but it's good that you're analyzing things. But backing into 1991, this is a weird thing to take in. But it's a big budget entertainment vehicle. Bitch. Take that money. I mean, she could be helping, right? She doesn't have to be screaming like she saw a mouse with a dick surgically implanted on its back. Kill him, and you would have been done with it. See? Uh, the old boot dagger. Some more drool. Chop his head off, Robin. Lots of nasty drool, though. I guess that's the gritty part of this remake. Basically, Robin lost. Let's never forget that part. Nottingham here is a better overall, just by his own stupidity lost. It's like the girl who went to or is going to Harvard who didn't read the question correctly on Jeopardy and lost. I mean, my God. My God. Nice. Grindel's mother. And suddenly bursts in. Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Blackina. Because again, the magic black man. Yep. Goodbye. I leave immediately. Back to Mecca. I mean, all right. What a weird character arc. It's fine. It works. Now, are they going to mate? They need to clap cheeks quickly. Do it for you. Oh, now she's earthy. Everything's so earthy. Look at this costume design. I like it. But it is, they really got in these first-person shots with the... Oh, and here he is. Now, why didn't he want to be credited, is my question. Just to not let people know he did it? Was he embarrassed by it? Because he's a Scot? I'm confused on that note. Oh. Radiant. Oh. You are sexy. I would have done better as Robin Hood than this fucker. Lord Locksley, I'm a ladies' man. Yeah, I mean, again, it wasn't much of a role, but you think he would want to be credited. Maybe he hated the movie, thought it was stupid. I can see that because of the odd directorial changes, the cinematography, the wavering between dark and comedy. She wanted a light kiss, and he just pressed his mouth on it for more. Oh, he didn't leave. He's still there. And now he's accepted as one. Oh, look. 50 white doves they captured. Slipper the tongue. Lift those. Feels like an after shot, right? Well, that is the end. Still a classic Robin Hood story. I've said it before, and I don't want to sound like a cliche. There's a lot to like here. The settings, the cinematography, the Sam Raimi. This is a love letter to Sam Raimi. Now I should probably watch these credits to see if he did maybe he was second director or something. You know what I mean? It does fit into a 1 year-ish gap until he did Army of Darkness, which is his, medieval knights movie. Now you get it. Here we go. Okay. I mean, okay. I don't like the pop song driven thing, but at least they kept the vocals out to the end. And for such a good score, why even bring in a pop song? It's silly. You have a great, theme. Maybe not score. Theme. Great theme. All the practical stunts that they still did in 1991 are great. The dark photography was a risk. I admire the director and the cinematographer taking these risks. It didn't pan out. It's hard to do it, and it doesn't show up even on this 4K. That's a problem. The acting is bad, but we can get by that because it's a visual spectacle. I would say the writing is good. Delivered by another actor, some of these lines would be so much more impactful. Our villain, a wonderful actor, is wasted a bit in this. He does everything that's asked of him, but his character has to be an afterthought here. It's a little long. The director's cut, there's some things I think you could cut out. That said, I like the humanizing elements of it. Production consultant Kevin Costner. Yeah. Anyway, I think the main takeaway here is the similarity in these shots and these wide angle close-ups and the moving camera and the arrow POV that is just Sam Raimi-esque. And I've got to get to the bottom of that. So you go look it up, see if you find it first. I love you guys. Good night.